Hi guys, touching in for another crypto market analysis video, 16th of January 2023. So as per, we'll start off with ES, and you can see here we really are at a critical point. So this is the moment we've all been talking about, guys, this trend line break, okay? We've had this line drawn for some time, many months, and now we're looking at the potential breakout, right? Now, although everyone is getting particularly excited about the daily close above this diagonal level, the most important levels for me are around these sort of daily horizontal levels, okay? So until we can really reclaim this and start closing above the sort of 4100s, then bearish market structure is still in fact intact, and we could very easily deviate this trend line break, close underneath, retest it from the underside, and then proceed downwards, okay? This level here at the 3920s is a very important level, okay? You can see it's a key high time frame SR with multiple touch points all the way through. So if we are to start failing at these horizontal resistance levels, deviating the trend line, my eyes are on this level in particular, okay? If we close back underneath this level and start holding under here, then that can give us high certainty that the move is a fake out and that the bear rally's had its time and lost its steam. Now, please be clear, I'm not saying that I'm bearish at this point in time, okay? We are attempting a breakout here. What I am saying is that this higher time frame diagonal trend line isn't the be all and end all, and that we're running head on into higher time frame horizontal resistance, okay? This is a key moment, and I'd much rather wait for the situation to develop, monitor the strength and reaction as we move into these levels, rather than blindly longing a diagonal trend line break, okay? Regardless of it being higher time frame and its significance in capping the upside of the indices since December 2021. So to summarize, we're at a key point here, okay? We're sandwiched between two very key levels. You've got these levels here and this level down here. And this is really where we need to have eyes on and start paying attention in particular to the market, okay? Are we going to flip this level here and for the first time break market structure, or are we going to deviate the trend line, close back below and resume the downtrend? Now onto NQ, you can see that yes, we're starting to reclaim some key levels, here being the VPOC, but haven't quite had our TL break quite yet. Again, it's holding its levels nicely. You can see multiple taps at this support level down here, then we've got a nice reclaim here and here. But again, despite us looking like we may be bottoming, we are still very much within bearish market structure, and we have to abide by that. So again, eyes on the NQ, and across both of the indices, we're coming into key points here. The question really is whether we invalidate bearish market structure and take these highs and start closing above, or we fail and resume to the downside once again. Now we can skip the XY, not much to say there. We're still slowly grinding downwards, but onto BTC, we can see that we've had obviously a huge overextension over the last week. And we can see that visibly and clearly on the daily here. Just looking at the RSI, we are incredibly overstretched, okay? We're hitting the 90 level here. Now, we haven't really hit the 90s on the daily RSI very much over the last sort of 5 years, I think 3 or 4 times. So these are rare conditions, but I think a lot of the market participants are seeing this overstretched nature, saying, this is an aggressive bear market rally and we're here to top out. We never hit the 90s, we never hit these high RSI levels on the daily, and we're looking at new lows here. Really, the way we should be looking at it is the other way around and acknowledge that, it was able to get up to these levels, and we need to sort of acknowledge the market strength. Now, by all means, I'm not saying the sort of generational low is in, okay? I'm just saying that we have to acknowledge that BTC is showing a lot of strength, as is ETH. And that can just give us a good bias in terms of whether we're looking for longs or shorts, okay? I believe BTC actually swept this high on some of the futures markets, but haven't done so on spot, okay? If there'd been a clear wick up here, taking out this high and closed aggressively below, then I would be much more bearish in nature. But at the moment, I expect we're just going to see a cool off. We'll start retesting some previous levels that were reclaimed, such as here, here, and here. And at those points, we're really looking for the reaction, okay? And the question there is, has the RSI cooled off as much as it needs to? Is BTC holding those levels, or are we crashing back through and reclaiming them to the underside? So if you've ridden this move up, congratulations. It was a huge percentage gain. But if you've been sidelined, please do not be FOMOing in at these levels, okay? By all means, we could keep scorching higher, and this would in fact probably be the path of max pain, as a lot of people aren't prepared for that outcome. But regardless of that, you can see that BTC is incredibly overstretched on the higher time frame oscillators. And if you're playing scalps, fair enough, treat it as your system will. But this is clearly not the right point in which we look for swing long positions, okay? Now, from a higher time frame perspective, we're looking for this daily RSI point to come down, ideally retest the mid, pick up more steam, and then go again, okay? And as it does that, we need to see where BTC is at the point in time, okay? Whether we consolidate here, which brings the RSI down a good bit, then retest this level, or whether we're further down at this monthly point, or in fact this level here at the 18,700s. Now, we may get the 18,700 level, okay? It's by far the most important SR level we're dealing with at the moment. You can see that it propped up price action for about 140 days here before the FTX drama and the aggressive move to the downside occurred, okay? Now, we came back into that level and burst through on first attempt and went almost 2x higher from that point. So, of course, keep your eyes on an 18,700 retest, but as far as I can see, that's the retest level that everybody wants because it would be so clean. And I'm not saying it doesn't occur, but usually, the scenario everyone wants doesn't play out, okay? Now, I've just popped over to the 4 hours so we can see the slightly lower time frame price action, and we can see that this last leg here was in fact a 4-hour divergence. We can see it locked itself in here with the RSI making a lower high, awesome oscillator making a lower high, and the candle bodies making higher highs, okay? Now, unless we're to see the aggressive and relentless strength carry on straight from here without any cool off, which would in fact put the daily RSI at extremely abnormal levels, we will want to see some sort of cool off here, okay? So maybe we consolidate a little bit longer, come down, retest this level here, okay, and then go for the upside. If in fact the market shows us no form of consolidation or cool off periods for the RSIs to reset themselves, my eyes are very much on the 21,480 level, okay? And if we can wick above and close underneath as the first scenario, then my eyes are straight on the delta dynamics to see if any absorption took place. And if so, I'm looking for the short setup, okay? So now you may be wondering why I'm assessing and potentially preempting a short scenario when I've been talking about the relative strength of BTC. Well, first off, I'm not saying it's going to occur. I'm just saying that we are approaching a key level and I would need to see some conditions present themselves for me to then be in short mode, okay? Now, let's just let's unpack a bit why I'm sort of in this partial mindset, right? It's because although I'm very aware of BTC and the indices' strength, this could and only could be a golden setup, okay? Now, let's run through why. Firstly, as we've covered off, we know the nature of how overextended the market is on the higher time frames, okay? We've only seen BTC this overextended on the daily RSI a handful of times over the last few years. Secondly, the fact we would be sweeping a key level probably entice a whole tranche of breakout traders and likely hunt an extraordinary amount of stops. I mentioned if it is to do so, high delta is a must, which would tell us that there's passive suppression of price capping any upside through limit asks. Now, if you look at the lower time frame price action, this move would in fact be a triple drive into the highs. Now, triple drives into lows or highs are typically characteristics of key pivots in the market, okay? And lastly, the fact we've had an incredibly inefficient and illiquid move over the last week, which if and only if we started moving to the downside, would give us a smooth and frictionless ride, which makes for very favorable short side conditions. So I just wanted to alert you guys of this, okay? Although we have to always acknowledge the strength in the market and play in that direction, I think it's critical for traders to be fluid and non-biased and not have such a linear black and white approach to the markets, okay? Now, please be clear, I'm not saying that these lines are probable, I'm saying that they are possible. And in my opinion, it's always good practice to preempt different trade outcomes and ready yourself for those positions. Now, of course, we need certain things to present themselves for this move to be in play. By all means, we could very much not consolidate, burst up, close above, and keep this move driving to the upside. Now, as I've said, this is a possibility, as it would likely be the path of max pain for all of those participants currently sidelined and looking for a dip for entry. Now, lastly, we'll just cap off on ETH. We can see that daily overextension again. Here we got to about the 85s, not quite the 90s, but even still, this is very much overextended. But regardless, this is still an extraordinary overextension, and you can see we've done so as we push into 3 days supply. Now, the retest levels on ETH, if given, are very clean. We have the 1425 level here, okay? We can see these multiple touch points, and then the stalling as it attempted to break out here. And then slightly lower down, we have the 1350s, which were the highs of the 65-day range that we saw price within from November all the way to about 5 days ago. Now, if ETH was going to take out any level, the level to take is the 1680 level. And we can also see that that move would bump right into the 1700s here. So we have to see how price behaves, the delta dynamics as we move forward, and whether we get our oscillator cool off or keep attacking upside targets. So I hope this higher time frame overview has given you insight into where my eyes are at. In summary, we should keep our eye on the indices. This is a critical time in terms of the market structure flip. See if BTC can also take out the 21,480 level and hold above, as this is again a key clue within market structure dynamics. Acknowledge the strength in the market, but be fluid with your approach, catering for a variety of scenarios to play out. Map out your key levels and set alerts for those levels so you can act when appropriate. And lastly, but certainly not least, keep your eyes on delta at these levels, as we know that market orders are what makes the market move, but limit orders are what shapes its direction. Right guys, that's it for today. We'll try and touch in next week and we'll see how the situation develops.